Yeah, my first boss, Randy Spetman, once told me, "Tough times don't last, tough people do," and that struck a chord with me, and it's always stayed with me. And we're going through some tough times right now. Our team is suffering right now with numbers due to self-inflicted wounds. We have a very short junior class. We got one player in it, Alex Schilling, because we had some players in that class get into some things they shouldn't have been into. We had an incident earlier in the year where we lost some players, and this is why we're short. Now, we're dressing a guy that we released from the team a couple of years ago, and he's in doing his best, and we're shorthanded. And you know what? All this happened on my watch. I'm the captain of the ship, and I have to take full responsibility and full accountability for that, and I do. We're trying to get some traction here. The kids that we do have are trying hard. In the years where we've been good, we've been deep and we've been old. Well, we are neither deep nor are we old right now. We're young and we're thin. The one thing we do have is a great fighting, competitive spirit. We had Robert Morris come in here last weekend, a very seasoned veteran team, a team that's older, deeper, more experienced, bigger, and stronger than we were. And they beat us on Friday. They came out on Saturday, and they came out not only to beat us, but embarrass and humiliate us. We got behind in that game quickly. They scored a goal right off the hop on a non-call that should have been called a penalty. Our goalie got ran. They maintained possession of the puck, ended up scoring a goal. We're down in the first shift 1-0. 7 minutes into the game, we're down 3-0, and they are imposing their will on us. They're having their way with us. And be honest with you, it was so bad. I'm looking at the clock and doing the math and saying, if things don't change quickly, according to my Bemidji State math, we're going to lose this game about 20-0. Well, to the credit of our kids, they dug in, they fought back. They got back in that game. We scored a goal towards the end of the period. Going into the second period, we won the second period 3-2. Going into the third, it felt like something special was going to happen. It is so hard to turn a hockey game, but it's really hard to turn a hockey game when you're young like that. You're playing a more experienced, older team. You're down by 3 goals, pardon me. And our guys found a way to do it. I mean, it shows, it tells a lot about, like I said, their character, the competitive spirit, their never say die. I mean, Robert Morris had their foot on our throat, and we decided, and we made a decision that we weren't going to die. We weren't going to quit. And they fought back. We ended up getting a penalty late. We had to overcome Robert Morris that night. We also had to kill 5 penalties to 1. We had 1 power play, which was weird in an evenly played game, but they got a power play late, made it 4-2, and there never ended up being a happy ending to the score on the scoreboard. But in regards to me, I never coached the scoreboard, never been one to coach the scoreboard. I was very, very proud of our group for how they responded and fought back in the face of extreme adversity. I mean, hockey is not a contact sport. Hockey is a collision sport. It's a violent collision sport. And for our kids, young kids, our young team to fight back and do what they did, that's the foundation. Before you can win, you first have to become tough to play against. And we weren't very tough to play against in that first 6 or 7 minutes. Give Robert Morris some credit. But after that, we were. And for the most part, so far this year, we have been tough to play against. We haven't been good enough for that to translate into a win for us. We're not there yet. We're going to continue to work hard, battle, encourage our kids, and make strides as we go through the season. And again, like I've always said, our goal is to be in the end of February and March, be the team that nobody wants to face in the playoffs. But that's a little bit of overview what's going on in Falcon land, in Falcon hockey land right now. And we'll use that as a segue into answering any questions from the media.
Coach, does this weekend, these 2 exhibitions, do they present kind of a low consequence opportunity to work on some of the things that have plagued you guys?
The thing that's really plagued us, Kate, is inexperience. And like I've always said, you can buy everything at Walmart except experience. And what this gives us this weekend, it gives us a couple of exhibition games, a couple of free opportunities to gain some more experience for our young players. So, in essence, I guess the answer to your question is yes.
And did LaRock play well enough to maybe consider starting him this weekend?
Absolutely, and I would be shocked if you don't see him in the goal starting on Saturday.
The post-game locker room conversation, how did that go after you guys dropped your fourth straight loss?
To be honest with you, it went. I was very proud of them. I mean, we fought back. We were down 3-0 after 7 minutes, and I thought we played terrifically and fought hard. And again, I don't coach the scoreboard. Sometimes you can play not so good, and you get bounces and the puck ends up in the net. Other times you can play great and you just don't have any puck luck. Now, other than the first 6 or 7 minutes, I really liked the way we played. I liked our competitive spirit. And again, right now when you have a young team like that, they're good kids and they want to do well. They want to win. They want to be ultimately they want to be champions. And just to go in and I'm not going to do that. I coach the scoreboard and go in and I'm going to tell it the way it is. Hey, you know what? You want to be ashamed of something, be ashamed of that first 6, 7 minutes. But after that, we responded the way we'd want you to respond. Obviously, if we'd have played 60 minutes like we played the last 53, the result in the game probably would have been different.
And Coach, what do you see your position players? If there's one positive you can take away from the first couple of weeks, is there a position that you think is really going to lead the team the rest of the way with this kind of inexperience that you see?
Well, I mean, the only thing I can tell you is we're very short, and we've got a lot of guys in the lineup that probably wouldn't be in the lineup had some things not occurred. But when those things happen, it provides opportunities for people, and there are some players in our lineup that are getting an opportunity that they would have maybe had to wait for, or maybe they never would have gotten. So the message to all of them is seize the moment and take advantage of the opportunities right now.
Hi, Frank. I wanted to ask about Billy Dumas' play. He got into both games last week. He was taking a regular shift. After weeks of practicing, he got in games. I mean, what was your take on how Billy played?
I mean, Bill is coming. He's still not in the game shape that he'd want to be. Like he was a former, a high school champion at Minnesota and Wayzata. He would play in the same team with Alex Schilling. He did play 2 years in the North American League, which is we get the majority of our players out of the North American League. So, he is he is a proficient player. There's no question about that. And, Bill being asked to come back after taking a year and a half off, that's tough. But, he's a great kid. He's a team first guy. That's why he was still with us, to be honest with you. When we let him go, he wanted to be a part of the team in any way, shape, and form. So we made him the video manager because obviously he had a great feel and knowledge of the game. And, he's in right now. He's doing the best he can. Obviously, we can't expect Bill to lead us to the promised land, but we're hoping that obviously he can get into shape and become an effective cog in our machine.
And do you think will you play multiple goalies this weekend? Will Park maybe get some ice time? Are you going to rotate him, or what's your thinking on that with the 2 exhibitions?
I haven't really thought about anything other than Zach LaRock is definitely earned a start, and that's where we'll begin. To be honest with you, I'm not so interested in spreading the wealth as finding out who our goalie is going to be, the goalie that's going to be the goalie or goalies that are going to lead us to the promised land. Obviously, Alex Schilling, we have great faith in him. He was our team MVP last year. He struggled a little bit over the weekend. There was he let a few more. He doesn't let a lot of one-shot goals in, and he let a few in this last weekend. LaRock came in both nights and stopped the bleeding for us, stopped him in a big way, made a couple big saves en route to stopping the bleeding, and he's going to get a shot on Saturday, and if he plays well, you may very well see him on Sunday.
Coach, can you remember a time where you've ever had to coach a team that was so young and inexperienced, and obviously maybe besides having more patience, just does that change the way you need to approach things?
Yeah, I mean, those situations, like I've been doing this a long time, since 1982 or something, and obviously I've had to deal with a lot of different situations, and the one thing that I can tell you, I've never been in a situation where we've had so much attrition and really basically self-inflicted wounds, and we're down short numbers. I mean, I've never had situations pile upon one another like they have now, and that's the biggest thing that we're dealing with right now. The distraction of that, trying to keep the guys that are eligible motivated. Trying to work with the guys that are going through some issues due to the trouble that they got into. No, we got a lot of things going on right now, but first and foremost is the guys that are eligible. We're going to go in and we're going to continue to work with them. We're going to have another good practice today, and we're going to get those guys on the ice on Saturday and Sunday, give them a little bit more experience against a good USA team, and then probably the most important thing is getting them all home, and they're going to go home for 10 days. And they need that. They need to get out of here, and they need to recharge their batteries. All the battery acid is low with our entire team. The freshmen came in here, as I mentioned last week. They came in at the end of June. They never had an opportunity to really decompress. Going through August, the long weekends, they haven't had any of it. They never had Parents' Weekend. They never had Thanksgiving. We need to gain a little bit of experience against USA. Then they need to get home. They need to decompress. We need to recharge our batteries, and we need to come back after Christmas ready to continue to climb the mountain.
And you may have talked about this when the conference released the schedule a couple months ago, but because you guys are the lone team that aren't in the Western or Eastern Conference pod, your schedule is different from, the other teams in the pods. Do you find that as a disadvantage, advantage? Just curious what your take on that was.
I don't know. The only difference is we get to play everybody in the league except Sacred Heart, who decided they didn't want, they didn't want to travel by air out here, so those games were gone. I guess I really haven't thought much about it. It is what it is. We're playing everybody in the league twice, and the other teams of the West are playing all the teams in the Western pod play. The Eastern teams are playing all the teams in the Eastern pod play. To be quite honest with you, I don't think it's a big deal, because at one time, there was definitely the league was there were some haves and have-nots. Right now, there really are no automatic wins in the league. We have more balance and depth in the league than we've ever had. So I think regardless of if you're in the East pod or the West pod, or if you're Air Force playing everybody twice, I think everybody's got a challenging schedule.
Are you expecting anybody back this weekend? Did Sean Knowlton finally get fitted for his cast?
He got a cast off. I don't know if they're going to put another one back on. So I don't expect Sean back for this weekend. Hopefully we have him back after Christmas. Brian Adams has got a broken finger where he won't play either. Hopefully he'll have some kind of cast he can play with after Christmas. Dalton Weigel's been nursing some bad groins, and we don't know what we're going to be doing with him. The good news is we practiced late yesterday after finals, and nobody got injured in practice. So anytime we get through any type of competition without getting another guy winged, it's a good thing.